food, the Kentucky Fried Food, and you name any international brand that is fried and deep fried. I always mind you once again, in the interest of your health, please do not take fried foods and deep fried foods. They are very hazardous to our health. And now I just would like to discuss about the different parts of the country, the south, the north, the east, the west, and the central part, and what is the consumption of carbohydrate content, what is the consumption of fat, what is the consumption of the proteins. I tell you, if you take south, they consume 64% of carbohydrates, and they take 14% of proteins, they take 22% of fats. If you take the northern part of India, they take carbohydrates at 63% and the proteins 15% and the fats 22%. If you come to the eastern part of India, they take 65% of carbohydrates, only 16% of fats, and 19% of 16% of proteins and 19% of fats. The western part of India, 61% of carbohydrates and the 14% of protein and 25% of the fats. And when you take the central part of India, they consume the highest carbohydrates, that is, they consume 67% of carbohydrates and 14% of proteins and only 19% of fats. So this is the scenario in Indian continent, because this is we are living in the country, our own country, India. I have to discuss the various parts of India, the quantity of carbohydrates, the quantity of fats, and quantity of proteins they take. And now everybody should keep it in mind that they should curtail the intake of carbohydrates, that is 40% of carbohydrates, 30% of fats, 30% of proteins, is going to give you a good health with a quality of living, and you can maintain an ideal body weight. You can escape from diabetes, you can escape from hypertension, you can escape from dyslipidemia, you can escape from obesity, you can escape from the osteoarthritis of knees, you can escape from heart attacks, you can escape from so many like paralysis also. So just by taking the decreased carbohydrates and increased proteins and increased fats, that is my this thing. Suppose say how difficult to reduce weight. I tell you. Suppose you want to reduce 1 kilogram of your body weight, you have to spend at least like 9,000 kilocalories should be burnt. Like 9,000 kilocalories is almost like a month exercise. If you take regular basis, 60 minutes exercise, whatever it may be, if you take a month the exercise schedule properly, then only you will be able to reduce 1 kilo of weight. So weight gain is very easy, and losing weight is very tough. That's what I mind you, 9,000 kilocalories are supposed to be burned by your body to reduce 1 kilogram of your body weight. So one must be calorie conscious in this era. You should see the calories and the quality and the quantity and the glycemic load and the glycemic index also. Thereby you can minimize your this thing putting on weight, maintain an ideal body weight. Suppose I give you, like, I want to quote an example. Suppose some X is taking 50 extra calories. What is required is for a female it is 1000 to 1200 kilocalories per day is sufficient, and for a male it is 12 to 1400 kilocalories is sufficient. For a hard agricultural laborer or otherwise hard laborers, it is around some 2000 to 2500 milligrams. That is kilocalories, that is what is required in 24 hours. Suppose a person takes 50 kilocalories excess per day, that accounts to somewhere around some 18,250 kilocalories in a year. Suppose the patient takes 100 kilocalories extra, that is going to put you a burden on your body 36,500 kilocalories in a year. Suppose the patient is taking 500, the individual is taking 500 kilocalories extra apart from the recommended daily allowance, that is RDA, and in a year he is going to put on the excess kilocalories of 1,82,500 kilocalories. Suppose the patient takes 1,000 kilocalories extra, he is going to take excess kilocalories to a tune of 3,65,000 kilocalories. And when you can burn these calories, when you can achieve normal body weight, see, so all the time fill the belly only to half. Don't take it until here, okay? Don't take a sumptuous steady half an hour or 1 hour lunch, 1 hour dinner. Please avoid. What I mean to say is, you have to munch and eat. The olden days we used to say you have to each bite has to be like munch for 32 times and eat for a better digestion. That and all is very good. And now we just move on. What is to be taken by a patient suffering from type 2 diabetes? The most important core messages I'll give you. And the more of vegetables, that too non-starchy vegetables, like potatoes you have to avoid, non-starchy vegetables, and you take all the leafy vegetables. There is no forbidden leafy vegetable. The only forbidden vegetable is potato, probably because that is diabetogenic, that causes diabetes, and the diabetes is called diabetogenic. So avoid white rice. There are some the foods to be taken in plenty are the fruits and the dal, egg, fish, and the cereals, pulses, seeds, and the oats, which are very rich in fiber. And I have already told you the fiber advantages. And you say yes to the breast part of the chicken, like you take the chicken the skinless, and all the time I say no to some white poisons are there. There are deadly white poisons, which is the white poison, the first white poison being sugar. The second white poison is salt. The third white poison is white polished rice. That is what is called Karnool Sona. Our Sona Masuri rice is highly polished, and that causes diabetes. And the most culprit is maida. Maida is going to attack on the beta cells. That is going to kill all the beta cells, and which leads to pancreatic bankruptcy. So you can take the basra, the zawar, the ragi, and the all millets, what are all available, you can take. And coming to wheat, again, it is a debatable issue actually. If you have a flour milled whole wheat flour, unpolished and whole wheat flour, that is good, because if you take the refined the wheat flour, that contains a lot of unwanted substances, like amylin is one, and the gliadin is one, the amylopectin is second, and the worst part is gluten. So if you take the refined, the polished white wheat flour, this has got all the deadly substances called gliadin, amylopectin, and this particular maida, which kills the beta cells. And the amylopectin and the gliadin are addiction liable substances, because once you start eating chapatis, you develop an addiction liability, like eating chapatis every day, that never stops. If your child starts eating chapatis, he'll never get back to the zawari roti, what is called jonna roti. Jonna roti is very good for health, whereas chapati is not that good for health. If the chapati is red, you just take it for granted. That is made of less of maida and more of whole wheat flour. That's what. In this context, I would like to say there is a wonderful book written by Dr. David Bailey, a renowned cardiologist in the US. He has written on the disadvantages of taking the Wheat. Yeah, the name of the book is Wheat Belly. That is published in the year 2017 by New York Times, and that was the hot seller for the year 2017. So try to avoid maida, try to avoid and say no to always the French fries and the mashed potatoes or the potato chips, and all the time say no to the processed and ultra processed food, and say no to potatoes, and say no to red meat, and even the refined grains which cause the metabolic syndrome, and you try to stop the refined oils also, they are not advisable. And coming to the oils, olive oil is the best, and the unrefined groundnut oil, unrefined soy oil, unrefined sunflower oil is good, and unrefined very bran oil is very good. And the two oils you are not supposed to consume is the palm oil is the one, and the coconut oil is number two. One gentleman started a campaign. I don't want to take the names. One gentleman has started a big campaign. Now it is totally that has vanished. The ketogenic diet and all. The ketogenic diet is that was started 100 years ago. That started in the year 1920. That was where there were no medicines. At that time, the discovery of insulin also happened in the year 1920. The great the Grand Frederick Banting and Best, along with MacLeod and all, they have discovered insulin. Banting is the main person. He is the father of insulin actually. In 1920, two things have happened. One is the discovery of insulin, and he received a Nobel Prize for that. And second thing is the ketogenic diet was introduced by the Americans or the Europeans. That was basically to treat the refractory fits, that is refractory epilepsy. That is there were minimal drugs at that time. The patients, especially the children who are not responding to that time available drugs for fits, epilepsy, and they used to give the ketogenic diet. And the ketogenic diet is all the time bad. I am telling you, it acts adversely on your kidneys, and you get into heart attacks. You land up in kidney failures. You land up in heart attacks, and you land up in paralysis, and leads to death, because ketones are not good. So by starving and deprivation of carbohydrates, brain cannot tolerate these things. So say no to the coconut oil. Say no to palm oil. Why? Why should we avoid? Because there is a reason. Everything what I am telling you is, I told you it is evidence-based medicine. See, you are supposed to give these particular oils. Why not this coconut oil and why this palm oil? Because they are high source of saturated fatty acids, which may lead to heart attacks, paralysis, and the diabetes, and the worsening of diabetes, worsening of the dyslipidemia happens with palm oil and this particular coconut oil. So please avoid these two oils, and always say no to fast food, junk food, the pizzas and the burgers and the noodles. And whenever you find people I divide them into three groups. One group will go for this traditional fast foods like pizzas and burgers in the evening, and all bloody fast food and junk food. And the second group goes to this noodles, egg noodles, fried rice, gobi. That is one Chinese culture where they add Ajinomoto, which is a cancerous in nature. So that is the second group. And third group is they go for vada, bhaji, bonda, conventional. And there is a fourth group they are going for the pani puri, kachori, cutlets and all, which is not good for health. Please try to avoid all this. And the best is the homemade food, what your mother prepares, what your wife prepares, what your sister prepares, what you prepare. Why only females cook? We can also cook. Males also can equality. There is no gender discrimination. We also can cook. We also can wash the utensils. Everybody should take part in like management of home. That's a different aspect. And I've mentioned about the oils and see, and one more thing. See, you can replace certain things. Suppose you are taking white rice, polished white rice, the refined rice, you can replace it with the basmati rice, the long grain rice, or the brown rice. And at the same time, if you are taking white potatoes, that is the French fried or the potato chips or the mashed potatoes, you can take the sweet potatoes and yams. Sweet potatoes and yams are nothing but Gensu Gaddalu in Telugu, the Chilagada Dumpa in Telugu is sweet potatoes. They can be consumed in large quantities because they fall under the categories of sweet potato is low GI food, whereas potato is high GI food. And never go for deep fried or fried foods and avoid pickles. Avoid the mango pickle or lemon pickle, where you use a lot of oil and the salt as a preservative. Don't go for that. And if you want to take a regular pasta, replace it with whole wheat pasta. If you are fond of pasta, you can take it. But you replace with whole wheat pasta. And if you want to take white bread, which is very, very poisonous to your health, you can as well go for a brown bread. Okay. And the core message that I am going to give the take home message right now. This is the core message for patients suffering from diabetes or hypertension or dyslipidemia or heart diseases, obesity, whatever it may be. Even otherwise, everybody who wants to have a healthy living and a quality of living, say I remember you. Not mere controlling blood sugars, you cannot achieve anything. It is ABC always. ABC, you remember. A is A1C. A1C, that is for blood sugar, that is diabetes. B for is blood pressure, that is hypertension. C is for cholesterol, that is dyslipidemia. If you address properly the meticulously control diabetes and hypertension and dyslipidemia, you'll never get into complications of diabetes. Majorly, the complications of diabetes are divided into the microvascular complications and the macrovascular complications. The microvascular complications being the diabetic retinopathy, diabetic neuropathy, diabetic kidney disease. Again, neuropathy is divided into motor neuropathy, sensory neuropathy, and the autonomic neuropathy. Again, the sensory neuropathy is divided into the large fiber neuropathy, which is painless, and the small fiber neuropathy, which is painful, and the burning, the electric lancinating type of burning feet, that is called the small fiber neuropathy. And the macrovascular complications being the coronary artery disease and the strokes and the peripheral vascular disease, that is the lower limb arteries have got blocks like what we have in any block in the coronary arteries, we call it as heart attack. Any block in the cerebral arteries, that is we call it stroke. Likewise, you in the lower limbs, the large vessels are blocked, either at the level of posterior tibial artery or the anterior tibial artery, or at the femoral artery, or at the dorsalis pedis artery. That is called peripheral vascular disease, which leads to amputation, and the patient may succumb to death also. And now you got very good treatments in the vascular bypass, like coronary artery bypass graft, what we do for heart. They are doing the lower limb stenting also. That is a different issue. Okay. Then I give the take home message all the time: eat seasonal, what is available, eat local always. You customize your food to see to that you eat all the local ones. Don't go for the costliest ones. Don't go for kiwi fruit, which is 30 rupees. You don't go for apple, spending 25 rupees. You just can have all the fruits. The cheapest fruits available. The guava is the cheapest one. The muskmelon is cheapest, and the watermelon is cheapest. And the Mosambi, that is the oranges are the cheapest ones. you can as well consume this, because the high vitamin C is very much important for the building up our immune status. And what all I say is, live healthy, and quality of health is quality of life, that is QOL, is very very important. Maintain ideal body weight, maintain ideal body mass index, and you take a balanced, healthy, nutritious homemade food. Don't take the food from outside, please, please. And in this the COVID pandemic, I would like to stress upon, now everybody is coming out with the commercial brands, immune boosters, immune boosters. Please don't believe in immune boosters. That is all false. Even Baba Ramdev has come out with Karo nil. That is nil actually. No, that is nil, zero. See, don't go by advertisements, TV advertisement. Immune boosting is nothing but immune boosting is achieved only by three things. That is, first is diet, that is balanced, the nutritious, healthy, homemade food, which is rich of vegetables, which is rich of leafy vegetables, which is rich of all fruits, because especially the citrus fruits, lime and lemon, and the ragi ganji and the buttermilk you take in plenty, and the citrus fruits, the oranges you take, the pineapple has got highest quantities of this thing, the mango also has got vitamin A and also C, and even papaya has got vitamin C, and the grapes are rich in vitamin C. You can take any seasonal fruit that is available to prevent all these complications. You can take eggs in plenty in this COVID era, and you can take fish, you can take chicken also. And first is diet, and second is exercise. Without exercise, you cannot you cannot boost up your immune status. And exercise is mandatory even in this COVID era. Along with the diet and exercise, if you have a good sleep, at least 6 to 8 hours sleep, without sleep you cannot boost up your immunity. So I just conclude by saying, you in the COVID pandemic, in relation with the diabetes, because COVID pandemic is very much associated, the high risk factors for COVID 19 is the hypertension, the diabetes, and the smoking, and the age above 50 to like the increases by 50, increases more by 60, increases more by 70. They are vulnerable to get the COVID-19 infection. And the patients suffering from lung diseases like bronchial asthma or the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, that is COPD, otherwise known as COAD, chronic obstructive airway disease, otherwise known as COLD, chronic obstructive lung disease, they are much prone to this. And the patients suffering from the cardiovascular diseases, they are more prone for COVID-19. And the patients suffering from chronic liver disease, CLD, and the patients suffering from chronic kidney disease, they are also at high risk of developing this thing. And the patients suffering from malignancy, so cancers, maybe on radiotherapy, maybe on chemotherapy, they are more vulnerable to develop this particular COVID-19. And this particular the immunosuppressant patients, what we call the patients suffering from several autoimmune diseases, where we doctors, the experts put the patients on the corticosteroids, like let it be rheumatoid arthritis or ankylosing spondylitis or SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus. These are all the conditions where we put the patients on the tapering dose of steroids in multiple doses. They are at risk of developing the COVID-19. So to protect yourself from not getting into this particular COVID pandemic, you want to avoid that. You try to boost up your immunity by diet, by balanced diet and exercise and a good sleep. These three are integral parts of immune boosters. See, the ironically, I am telling you, you don't get sleep for sale in any medical shop or any shopping malls. You don't get healthy, balanced food in the supermarkets, and you don't get exercise for sale. These are not for sale, okay? You cannot purchase the immune boosters Just like that, as the TV advertisement goes, it is not possible. That is all false. Don't be carried away by the false advertisements. And finally, I conclude by saying, one size doesn't fit all. See, we can give a generalized message, like in the platforms, like all the time. I take an example, like the table has got a tabletop and four legs, and the treatment of diabetes, I always explain my patients in a very simple language. Table, you take a table. Table is made of four legs, and it is not complete without a tabletop. The four legs are, one leg is diet, second leg is exercise, third leg is oral drugs, fourth leg is insulins, and the important aspect is tabletop, which is continuous medical education to the patient. That is constant and repeated counseling. And my policy is, I all the time translate the medical research into the colloquial language of the common man. Then only I will be a successful clinician, or a successful physician, or an endocrinologist, or a diabetologist, or a doctor. If I cannot translate research into patient's language, any clinician is literally like, it's a failure. We should go to the patient's level, and we should create the awareness, raise the levels of awareness. So all the time, counseling and treatment are individualized, and I don't believe in mass counseling actually. But the platforms like this, we can give you some knowledge, but it is always, remember that one size doesn't fit all. So it is always, the treatment is individualized and customized, and the counseling is always individualized and customized. And I conclude by saying, all of you keep safe, stay at home, and prevent yourself from this COVID-19, and wear a mask, maintain some physical distance, and clean often, like obsessive OCD patients. Like there was a wonderful movie in Telugu, Shatamanam Bhavati, where I don't remember the name, where Sharvanand has played that particular role, where he's a patient of OCD. OCD is nothing but obsessive compulsive disorder. I think it's Mahanubhavudu, not Shatamanam. I'm sorry, I'm very, very bad at films, and I stopped going to theater way back in 1986. That was my last film. From then onwards, I had never stepped into a film theater. I just don't find time actually. So, like obsessive compulsive disorder is, they keep on doing the things repeatedly. Like you lock down the house while going out. Again you go back, you check it whether it is locked or not. Again and again doing the same thing. Like you should become OCD patients in maintaining hygiene, and like washing your hands with simple soap. That's going to kill the coronavirus. Coronavirus is outlaid by a fat layer, which easily dissolves with simple soap. Any soap you take, need not be Dettol or Lifebuoy. Don't depend on the advertisements. Any cheap soap you have, you wash your hands for 30 to 40 seconds, and this is the procedure. First of all, you have to wash like this, then wash like this, then wash like this, and then wash all for 30 to 40 seconds at least, until the elbows, all the time. And before eating, after eating, and before going to the toilet, after coming from the toilet, and before going out and coming again from outside, you leave the clothes, get it washed, dried under the sun. If you are using a reusable mask, you soak it in surf water for half an hour. Afterwards you clean it, you put some Dettol into the water, again you put for half an hour, let it get dried in the sun, so it becomes sterile. It is ready for another use. And take a shower the moment you come from outside. Take a shower and dispose the clothes, put it in the wash machine, or somebody will have to wash, and it should get dried under the sun. Then only you are virus free. And I hope you enjoyed the session, and I thank you very much for your patient listening. Now any questions, I feel free to answer, and I find some questions.